Hi friends, it's Pat Sloan here. So happy Mardi Gras. If you are celebrating Mardi Gras, have a fantastic time. If you happen to be in Mardi Gras or have been to a Mardi Gras here at YouTube, leave me a comment. I have not been to Mardi Gras, but I have been to New Orleans once, and it was a lot of fun. Although we were there between Christmas and New Year, which was still pretty fun. But it was winter. It was a little chilly. But we didn't care. We did all the things that we could. Music and food and all that good stuff. So if you are celebrating Mardi Gras today, woohoo! enjoy. Okay, so what we're going to do is something a little bit different today because I have the Perfect 10 is on for today. But what I want to do is, and the temperature quilt. So I started thinking, I've got all of these things in kind of different stages. You can see over there. And what I want to do is just walk around and show all of them to you first. And then what I'm going to do is take some of them that I know I can move forward, because I'm going to give myself what I call this afternoon. And this is, I only have like a short afternoon to tape today, not a regular afternoon. What is a regular afternoon time frame for you? 1:30 to 6? 2 to 6 maybe, 1:30 to 6:30. 1:30 to 6:30 is 5 hours. If you were like 2 to 6, that would be 4 hours. And so I have got like 2.5 hours. So I have a short afternoon available for me to do this in. And so I thought I'll show you all the things, and then just like I would do, and just like I do, I have to decide, well, what can I work on to move it forward, or maybe just complete some of the stuff in this time frame that I have, because we all have to do that. Whether you are squeezing in 20 minutes between finishing dinner and maybe taking somebody to, somewhere they have to be, whether it is sewing maybe for 15 minutes before you go to work in the morning. On Saturdays or Sundays, you may have a little bit bigger chunk of time that you can devote to it. Maybe you do get, 3 hours of time allotted. But that's kind of a luxury for a lot of people, because you just have all kinds of things that go on in your life. So that's what you're going to see here. We'll go through everything that I have out that I would like to work on and need to work on. And then I will sew some of them and show you progress for this video today. And so if you are in that same spot where you have, things that you can move forward, got your piles ready. So, okay, let's get the other camera. We will start right here where I was just sitting in my koala chair. All right, so I've got a Starbucks, which thank you to all of you that send me Starbucks cards. Mwah. Okay, there's the monitor, so I know what's going on. So I've got the Perfect 10. Today's Perfect 10 day. I have half of this block done. Here is its other half under the Solaris. Then I have 1, 2, 3 more blocks, and then that's it. All the blocks are done. I know I cut one too few of these, and there were actually more of those, but that doesn't matter if there's more. I will have to cut another one of these, but this is a good one. This is a potential to do this afternoon in the time that I have. All right, what else? I have got up on the design wall. Let me see, I think, can I turn this on without it making craziness on the film? We'll try. So this is the Breakfast Club, and I use this gift fabric for the little spots. Oh my goodness, they are so cute there. And I tried a couple of different fabrics, but I ended up with this blue. I think that's going to be it. And then, of course, this will be white, just like the pattern shows, but I haven't cut those yet. So just kind of auditioned that. So one of the things I could do was sew all those corners on all the blocks. Or, that would probably be a good item just to get them off the wall. I did actually cut, let me just turn that off now. I did cut the rest of the cornerstones. And I have cut all of the sashing, as you can see. But I did not cut the white that goes on the outer sashing, between here. I also auditioned from the fruit salad, that fabric, and it might, because of my space, it might need to be like a little bit more narrow, which I think would be fine. Okay, there are more blocks. This is not started, so it is not on the list for today. There's more blocks. This is a little bit bigger project, so it is not on the list for today. So over here, I don't have things. We're gonna go on the back side of the table. Okay, over here. The temperature quilt. Oi, 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 oi. I got a little behind, but I'm working to get ahead. Now, one of our friends I saw had done all of the roofs, because they're little houses for each month. And they all look like this guy. And one of our friends did all of the roofs. And I was like, oh, you are so good. I'm probably never going to do that, but you are so good. I did get all of January done. So all of January is completed. Loving those warm days in January, the orange. And I have gone to Weather Underground, which a lot of you recommended. You just go to the month view, and it's awesome for your town. And of course, mine doesn't pick my town. It picks his town next door, but that's fine. So I've got all of these. And what I'm doing is going, okay, if I have the weather is 55 degrees, then the range, which is I'm picking this range over here. So if I've got fits 51 to 55. So the 51 to 55 is this number 2882, which is in the greens. And then I would see on here how many are in the 55, you know, how many is in that range, so that I can just do all of them, like, you know, not have to be bumping around with the thread. So that's what I've been doing. But first I have to do the second roof. I have to do the second roof, and that's part of the pattern that you get. And I have been using this system, and it is working. So I've got little tags on each one of these for the number. They are in the same order as, the same order here that I'm using as the swatch. I highlight as I'm finished. So that is all working super well. So for today, in the time I have allocated, is it possible to catch up? Most likely not, but I can maybe do a little bit. Because first, this is going to be first. Perfect tens will be first, and possibly then these guys up here will be next, because that's just a bunch of sew and flips on all the corners, so that's pretty good. All right, so then I've got the mercantile. Well, before we get to the mercantile, I have got the canning jars that needs basted. So I don't think I'll be getting to basting today. I think I'll be doing the sewing instead, and the cross stitch before I do that. I do need to repot some plants. I know that's not quilting, but it is on my list, and it has been for about 5 days, and I have yet to do it, maybe longer than 5 days. And I need to repot this one. I need to repot that one, and this one. And probably this one is, it is struggling. I think it's going into its dormancy. It just will not bloom. It gets some things and it won't bloom. So I think it's going dormant, and I just can't deal with that. So I don't know what, I may have to give it to a friend who kind of likes to hold on to things. Oh, and I brought this begonia in from outside. This is my summer begonia I bought in spring, and it was outside all summer. It's in too small of a pot, but that's kind of keeping it contained. Okay, so what do we have? The mercantile. That's the other. This is the other project. I need to do the 2 backgrounds for these. My circle, the interfacing to do the circle should come like Monday or Tuesday. So I've got the other sets done. See, block with its 4-patch background there. So I've got the other ones all done. These 2 just need cut. So this is definitely also on the list. So I've got 3 things. This, get the 4 backings here and here. Whoops, here, up here. But I need to pick the fabrics because I remember this is a free pattern that you can get in Lori Holt's program, and you can go to her videos and her blog to get more details. I'm not going to put this fabric here on the first one because I've already used it twice, and I may use it once more, but not up here, so I need to pick a different fabric. So I think the first thing to do is get the fabric bin. So I brought the basket over here for the mercantile because we need to get the fabrics and we need to cut those squares. 4 squares total, no, 4 squares total for each block. Here you can see, yeah, here's what I'm building for each block, and that's how it's used behind the block. So from this part back are all the fabrics that are used. I have the kit that I'm using for Mercantile. So this is the one I said I've already used twice. Then maybe I will use it once more, but not in this block and the same. This one was already used, I think, twice. But anyways, those that would just find the other ones here. So this is the sort of medium. Here's the blue floral that's here. Got that floral. And then looks like a little pink. I think it's this one here for here, and like here right next to it was this dot. Oh, I like that one. Haven't used that one yet. And then I think I'm going to go, I haven't used it. I'm kind of staying away from the brown. Here's the tan. I just want to stay away from the brown for this whole project, I think. And so for this one, I believe I would just go with this green. There we go. So I'll do these four for the back of this first block number 1. So I've got those. And then on the next one, the next block that I need to do the background is here. Okay, so what do we got here? Different fabrics, except is that the same one? I don't know if that's the same one. I think it might be on green. So we're going to pick green for that. Here's the little sort of, very vintagey medallions. And then here we've got blue background. Blue, 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 blue. Sometimes I'm like, how can I not? So that is repeated. This is this one, I think, because it reads as green. So it's like in both of those. Okay, and then the pink floral. Pink, 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 pink. Here it is. Okay, so that's across. I'm not going to repeat that. I'm just going to pick something else and put there. I'll put a turquoise. Okay, there we go. So I've got first block, second block. Oh, you can't see it. Here we go. First block, second block. And I will make these 4 patches. I'm just going to cut those out and sew them. Here's background 1, and I will just cut the other 4 fabrics, which are here, and place it on top for background number 2. So, and then what happens? I get too close to the computer because it's right here in my sewing room, and I have to jump on the Facebook group and see what's going on. So, so that took a few minutes, yes, and I'll probably do it again during this afternoon. Fun, fun, fun. I am folding and putting things back as I finish. So here they are. I just have one more to cut, and then I will sew those 4 patches. But I also refold everything back up so it can go back in the bin. I'm not just throwing it here. It may take a few extra seconds, but it's actually, to me, much faster to have it done now than later have these are kind of big pieces, to have these pieces piled everywhere. So get this done, sew it up. Here's one of the perfect 10 blocks that is in progress that's left, and this was what was on the machine before I started putting the Mercantile backgrounds through. So I've got all 4 units sewn. Now this guy will come off, and I will be able to sew it on here like that and put that through, so that I'm just constantly kind of working on 2 projects at once instead of stopping. I think this goes like that. Yeah. I'll get it right. But this is, I use this as a start and a stop, the other project. So I just sort of go back and forth between the 2 projects. Both block backgrounds are done, but we need to do the whole thing. Get everything put away, not move on to the next thing until this is all done. And so let me just show you what that means. How do we get it all done? What's left? So I need to pair this background with this block. So here is this is the second block. And then what I've been doing is just folding them like this for storage. So I've got that one folded. And then here is block number 1. And I will get that one folded. I am terrible at folding. I don't know what the deal is. Okay. Folding. All right. And then I have the others. So here they all are. So there's 5 blocks I've done so far, and I'm keeping them in one of these pouches. And so this is a By Annie pouch. You can make these, and then it's going in here, and then it will go where we got, then we go to the basket. So I've got the whole thing all together, and now it will go back on the shelf where you saw the canning jars. So now this is done. Then we're going to talk about what to do next. And while I was doing that, I made this block. So I started and stopped, and that's an important thing about what I'm going to do next. But wait, before I say that, I also think it is super important if you're going to work like this, where you're kind of doing a bunch of small things to kind of wrap them up, move them to the next level, leveling them up, is that you be organized and you actually complete everything and put it away like I just did. So that basket's now back on the shelf, everything's together until I work on it again in a few days. If I didn't do that, I would have a basket laying here, I would have blocks laying there, fabric piled up because I didn't fold it. So for me, it is mandatory. And I am like a very logical person, which is what you're going to, I'm born logical and born organized. So it's just the way my brain is wired. And you're going to see that now, because I could do two things. I could just go to the Perfect 10 and work through this, work, and get them all done. And then go over and do the cornerstones here. But because I like to stop and start, and I'm going to get places on here where I want to maybe do a couple units and then get them all off the machine to go over to iron them, because I don't want to get them too mixed up. I just try to make one block at a time when I'm working like this. One block at a time. I'm not sewing like all of these sections, because then I am prone to get them out of order. So what I'm going to do is pull down, and I'm going to do it right now, is I will pull down all of this so that I can take these 6 blocks, and when I stop and start and need to pull something out from under the machine, I will be sewing one of these corners on at that time. So I'll be doing the sew and flip corner on here as I need to pull these off. And then I'm not cutting any thread. It's actually a bit frugal that way, but it's, I think, a time saver. I don't have to stop and cut thread. I just keep sewing these things through. And that's how all those aqua blocks got made, is the same way. So let me pull all these off and I can work on these projects. Let me just show you the logic of what I'll do. Here is the Perfect 10. This block is here. And so in that strip, that's the top unit. And here's the other parts of that particular block. Now I can't sew this part onto here unless I cut the fabric. So I don't want to do that. So instead, what I will do would be to take one of these blocks and sew a corner on it. So I'm basically sewing both of these blocks, both of these projects at the same time, sort of alternating. The other thing I could do is, because I probably won't get disoriented because of the structure being one big block, I could go ahead and work on this. Sew these two together, then come back and sew this to the one over there, then come back and sew this to these two that I did, and work till I get one block, and do one of these maybe after these two sides are done, because then I'm going to work on the strip. Remember, I'm still going to have to stop and go cut another strip because I don't have enough, and it is in that bottom bin right there. So what I would do now is I have this here, and I will put my guide beam on my Solaris, and now you'll see the guide beam down here, and I will just do my sew and flip corner to corner, and the guide beam is right there. Many of the Baby Lock machines have a guide beam. Here we go. And see, then when I do the sew and flip, there will be the corner for the donut block. Okay, I'm going to work on this project now. Projects, there's 2. Now I need to take a break and give the plants some water. Just a little water for everybody. I'm not sure if I'm going to bother watering the one that's going dormant, because it just doesn't seem to be helping it any. But I feel bad for it sitting there like that. Whoops, I'm making a mess. Oh well, got tile floor, so it doesn't matter. Okay, we'll get this done and then back to the sewing. So here you can see I am actually on the 4th sew and flip for the block, and this Perfect 10 is all finished. So it'll just be pressed open. So I think there's 3 more to do. 1, 2, oh, 2 more. Just 2 more of those to do, and then after this one there's 5 more of these. Okay, so for those of you that doing a start and stop at the end of chain piecing is new, what I do here now is trim off the toast because I'm using that kind of as my start and stop. And now I will put it back through with another corner because I got 4 corners for each of the Breakfast Club. And then I run this through like I just showed you the minute ago. And then what I can do is take the 2 pieces of the Perfect 10 off and get ready to sew the vertical between the block, between the 2 sections. So I can press both of these and then work on the vertical. So the toast end was on here, and then I put the long strip for the center of the Perfect 10, but I can't, when I finish it here, go finish it out. But when I finish this, now in order to put the other side on, you know, I need to press this, I need to remove it, press this before I can put this side on. So instead I would, you know, of cutting it, instead of cutting the thread or just using a scrap or the little squares, I will actually be sewing on a separate project. So I will take this and put another square on the corner and run that through so that it removes here, and I'm actually sewing something else. So I'm sewing 2 projects at once. So where are we at now? I have about half an hour left of this time I allocated, which will be about a 3-hour time period. All the Perfect 10s are done. The mercantile backs are done for the blocks that I've done so far. Not all of them, just for the blocks I've done. So those are done and in the folder. These are done. And I'm working, I've got 3 corners, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I've got another one here on the machine. 3 corners, the eggs down here, and then I have 3 more corners to do. So in a half an hour, what could I do? I can, I think, sew those rows because that's the most efficient thing for me to do, rather than taking that all down and trying to remember where I put all the little cornerstones, which are all different, and I want them to be where they are. So what I will do is sew those in rows and clip them together so that they're in the order. Or I could go cross stitch on the temperature houses, but I would rather do this because I would like to see these up on the wall, but taking them down in a more efficient way, and I have the time to sew them, so that's the plan. Okay, my friend. Well, I hope that you enjoyed sort of this tour around and my projects and how I sort of approach doing a bunch of them at once. It's not going to work for everybody. You know, I know some of you are single thread people. You just only ever work on one project, but I don't think that's the majority of you. Majority of you are juggling a couple of projects. You're juggling life and work and family as well. And so we have to have a little bit of a plan. And when you have a plan, you get a lot done. You get so much done. And if that is something you enjoy, getting things done, then I hope that this helped you. So, okay, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.